What's up, guys? This is Dan for BladeReviews.com, back again with another knife review. This time we're going to be checking out the Zero Tolerance 0808, designed by Todd Rexford. I've got mine chilling next to a DPX Gear HEAT folder, which is another smaller full titanium folding knife. And this is a 2015 release for Zero Tolerance, and a smaller release too, with a 3 1/4 inch blade. A big departure from knives like the 0560 and 0300, which were some of Zero Tolerance's earlier flagship models. So you can see that they're kind of moving, at least in some ways, towards these smaller knives, which I think is cool. Certainly more practical for me. But at any rate, designed by Todd Rexford, like I said, and I actually met Todd at the Blade show this past year. And Todd is really, really hot right now in the knife market. He has been for a while. I think that his, if I recall correctly, his open bid knives sold for over 10 grand a piece, which is just mind-blowing. So here's an opportunity to own something designed by Todd Rexford for around 200 bucks, I believe is the retail on the 808 currently. So that's a good thing for sure. Anyhow, let's rattle off some quick specs and get into the nuts and bolts of the review here. It's got an overall length of 7.625 inches. It's got a 3 1/4 inch blade. Weight is 4.3 ounces, and the knife is made in the USA. So while this could certainly be an EDC piece, it's still no featherweight folder here, thanks in part to its full titanium construction and this chunky titanium backspacer. It's it's a good sized knife still. It's not a monster blade, but it ain't no feather either. So something to consider. I've been carrying and using mine for a while now. I do enjoy it. Very interesting and kind of futuristic looking folder here. So let's talk about that blade, which is a little bit hard for me to define. I would say this is either a modified clip point or a modified Warncliffe, and I might be wrong on both accounts. Who knows? Either way, it's sharp. It's been given a high flat grind. It's been given these belt finished satin grinds here, and then a very subtle stonewash finish on the flats. Beautiful job with the grinds as usual. Beautiful blade. Edge has been nicely applied here. You've got something of a decorative swedge, which sort of follows the lines of the handle a little bit too. Gives it kind of an interesting and uniform appearance. Blade thickness, actually you've got a pretty thick blade here, and you can see it comes to a fine and capable tip. A good knife. I've used this on a lot of cardboard. The blade steel is S35VN, which is an excellent premium steel from Crucible. It's a USA made steel, and it holds a nice edge. It's easier to sharpen than S30V, has good rust and corrosion resistance, and this knife has performed admirably. All I've really been needing to do with it is strop it, and I think I passed it on the fine stones of my Spyderco Sharp Maker a few times, and it just keeps going and going. It's a really nice, good working steel here, and the blade geometry is good. It slices. Doesn't have much belly here, so this isn't like my favorite food prep knife or anything, but you could certainly clip some coupons with this needle fine tip and get a lot of other work done with it. So let's take a look at the handle. Again, full titanium construction, stonewash titanium handle, and beautiful fit and finish as we've come to expect from Zero Tolerance here. This backspacer, quite chunky, quite shiny, matches the pivot. I like how it's a little bit proud in the back here. I guess you could use that as maybe some sort of impact kind of thing, but mostly I think it's for decoration, if I had to guess. Mostly would be used just to make the knife stand out a little bit rather than stand off. So they went for a pretty substantial backspacer, which is cool. It does add weight to the knife, so I don't care for that aspect of it, but it certainly does make a statement. You've got your lanyard loop, of course, and you've got your Zero Tolerance logo on the side of the handle there. On the non-show side, again, really nice titanium frame lock. Get inside there and you can see how clean everything is in terms of the finish work. You don't have a bunch of tooling marks in there. You don't have a bunch of weird screws poking out. Everything has just been wonderfully done, and a very high level of fit and finish with the 808. And again, you've got that decorative oversized hardware there. That's cool. Great detail as well. Let's talk about the ergonomics of the 808. It's comfortable. I take a large glove and I can get a full grip on here. If you've got massive hands, you might run out of real estate. But I think for most people, you'll be able to get a good 4-finger grip on the knife and get some real work done with it. It doesn't have much in the way of a quote-unquote traction plan. No jimping. Not much in the way of texturing. The stone wash is a little bit sticky here, so it's not like your fingers and thumb are going to just fly off the thing. There is some traction, but it's certainly not like Peel Ply G10 or anything like that. There's no actual traction sort of devices or features or implements actively integrated into the handle here. But for normal use, I found it's fine. If you need something that's really high traction, then you're going to want to try something else, obviously. But for normal use, like I said, I didn't have any problems. So let's talk a little bit about the pocket clip, which is honestly my least favorite aspect of the knife. It's just got this standard stamped clip here, which isn't so bad in itself, but you can see it's not very deep carry at all. And I'm not one of those people where if it's not a completely deep carry pocket clip, it's no good. I'm fine with just normal pocket clips. But this one leaves a lot of the knife exposed, and because there's a lot of weight in the back of the handle, I don't like that. And because the handle is relatively smooth, I don't like that either in terms of the retention in your pocket. I'm concerned that it might, if you're not really careful, if you're running around or something, it might fall out of your pocket. So it hasn't happened to me, but that was just an observation that I kind of came across as I've been carrying and using the knife. That said, it is drilled and tapped for ambidextrous tip-up carry. You can buy aftermarket pocket clips for this knife. I think you could even use one of those deep carry ZT clips, the folded over type. I believe that would work on this. I haven't tried it myself, but if you can snag one of those, you might be able to slap that on here, and you might enjoy that over this standard pocket clip. And as far as carry and stuff goes, I mean, it's a 4.3 ounce knife. It's not a complete boat anchor, but it's no feather either. You will feel this in your pocket, but it's not. It's certainly not like a 560 or a 0300 or anything like that. Let's talk a little bit about the deployment and the lockup. This is a flipper, of course. There's no thumb studs, no thumb hole, no nail nick. You've got to use the flipper that does have a little bit of jimping on it. And the knife is really dialed in. It flips nicely, as I've come to expect on Zero Tolerance's flippers. I think they make some of the best flippers on the market, and the 808 certainly doesn't disappoint. So flips out very well. Inside you've got a bearing system, and in the past Kershaw has used nylon encased bearings or nylon captured bearings. Here, I don't know how well you'll be able to see this, here there's actually a metal cage for the bearings, which is interesting. I wonder if they did that because this is a smaller knife and they needed something that could fit in there a little bit better, or maybe they're just going in that direction for all their new folders. I really don't know. But the caged bearings are very smooth, and you can see that the knife basically falls shut, which is quite impressive on a production folder. Very, very smooth. And blade centering's pretty good. Mine's not perfect, but certainly it's not rubbing. I'd say that's definitely acceptable, for me at least. And the deployment and lockup is very good. Speaking of lockup, so you've got a titanium frame lock here with a stainless steel lock bar insert, and ZT has been doing a lot of these on a number of their flippers. They've been doing it for a while now. They're very, very good at it. No complaints at all. So lockup is early, as you can see. There's no stick, very smooth, disengages easily when you want to disengage the knife, stays in place when you don't. So just a great example of a titanium frame lock flipper done right. Okay, so that takes us through all the nuts and bolts of the ZT-0808, the Todd Rexford designed flipper, new in 2015 from Zero Tolerance. Final thoughts. It's just a great knife. Like all the other ZTs that I've handled, the fit and finish is very good. This newer, more kind of compact model is fun. I like the futuristic look of it. Very clean, yet sort of elevated here, and the execution is superb. Great materials. S35VN is a fantastic working steel. Titanium, I don't think anybody's going to complain about. The way that they have executed the bearings and the flipper and the detent is phenomenal, and it just makes for a very satisfying knife. Also, the price is what I think is very approachable given what you're getting at around $200. Good value here for your money when you consider how much other companies titanium frame lock flippers can sell for. The fact that they're making this in the USA with the materials that they're using and the designers that they're licensing the designs from, and able to sell this for around $200 is really pretty good. So that's the review, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Once again, this is Dan for BladeReviews.com. Take care, and I'll be back soon with another knife review.